way by a company. I think less than 1% of the agents with EXP have reached icon level, right? And I think one of the most proudest moments in my life, and it was mailed to me because we are a cloud brokerage, so it's not like we have brick and mortar and I have a broker that's going to walk in my door and give me an award. But it was one of the most proudest days of my life, and I received many awards in my life. But it's just to reach that level of expertise and success in a way that I can scale and reduplicate over and over and over through EXP Commercial. Pretty phenomenal.
I dig that. Now, I know it's more than free coffee for you, brother. So tell me what icon means to you.
Free parking.
Free parking.
In the
You valet,
brokerage.
let's be clear. Tell me what icon means to you.
What other company can you join and not get a certificate and then say, thanks a lot? I mean, being gifted back the full stock and being able to share your story with other agents is pretty impactful. And being at EXPCon, shareholders, and the ability for commercial agents to reach out to 87,000 residential agents in order to get the leads, in order to become an icon, is amazing.
Let's pause right there. Because they're loud next door, yeah? Shall we show them how it's done? Okay, we're going to follow me here. Very slow, very easy. Put your hands together. If you've got something in your hands, that coffee, let's go ahead and put it down. You ready? And that's how you compete with the people next door. So, what I love that you just said was referrals. And we've got all of these residential agents who are like, I'd love to list a shopping center. I have no idea how to sell this hotel. What do you mean you want to do this enormous development for a commercial shipping center? Can somebody help me? I just sold my first house. So how are you reaching out and getting those referrals? Give me one tip, just one.
I mean, workplace is the easiest place to do it. Period.
Anybody in workplace? Okay, so you're slumming on workplace. No, you're having a good time on workplace. What does that look like to you? What is one thing you're doing on workplace?
Anyone who says I need a commercial agent, you got to be responsive. You got to engage. You can't just message them there. You have to actually call them, text them, get in front of their face. How can I help you? What do you have?
I love this. Okay, so when you think of workplace, this is next level. Like everybody's on Facebook or some sort of social. But when you are leveraging yourself as being this resource, because one of the things I love is you're so approachable. Video, like online, that engagement, it's huge. But you guys are doing a lot of video.
Yep.
Like there's a guy here with a camera that keeps pointing us at it. So tell me about what that looks like and how you're getting referrals.
Absolutely. So kind of one thing, the first question that you gave me, sorry, I kind of bad response. But I want to add to that, in sales, like anything, if you are entrepreneur, if you don't have a goal, it's really hard to gauge where you're at. You're kind of floating in a big ocean. So what icon means is like it sets a target for you to go get it to achieve, right? Because otherwise you'll be like floating around, okay, yeah, I'll do some deals next week. I'll do some deals, in a month. But having this icon status, yes, the reward is great. You get the cap money back in company stock. You get those awesome like badges and whatnot. And it's a good feeling, but it really set your mind to like a pinnacle of something, right? There are three things in sales that you can only control. What are the three things that you can control in sales? I know it's 4 o'clock. I know everyone's just get ready to the pool and the bar happy hour.
You're asking the hard questions. That was my job.
But let me share real quick, and then we can kind of pivot back to that question. So there are only three things that you can control in any given time, which is your action. Your actions that you can control. Second is your reactions. How do you react to someone that say, hey, interest rate is too high, right? So those are the things that you can control. How are you going to react to those questions? That's going to help you to get to maybe a transaction, because we only get, we only eat what we kill. If we don't kill anything, we don't get paid, we don't get to eat. And the third thing is the mindset. So the mindset is something that you can control of, which I do that all the time. I do my videos on Mindset Monday, really just kind of drop some, motivational kind of like quotes. I do that every Monday on my Facebook and my social media. So those are the three things that you can control of. So the mindset, same thing, kind of piggyback to the icon, like commercial icon. So if you set your mind to that commercial icon, all of a sudden you have a goal to be competitive among your peers, right? So those are the things. And then, so what I do, so Workplace is a great place to stay plugged in, get referral. Just throw another stats. We have 89,000 agents in our platform, and we only have close to 800 commercial brokers. So if you think about that ratio, being in the commercial side, it's in a very sweet spot, right? So by plugging into Workplace, I know, Robert do a lot of, posting, encouraging, motivational, because he's a coach as well. That's something that he can grow his followers organically, rather than just like hitting out somebody, hey, do you have any referrals? He's growing his follower referral, potential referral through organically by providing value in Workplace, by throwing up. Sorry. I
Don't recommend that for
I need a
referrals, just
shot. By giving some values, like some tidbits about, okay, golden nuggets on how do you do certain things in certain ways. So I think Workplace is a very good way to farm leads and referral. And that's why we are in a very good spot. Like I said, 80,000+ agents versus almost 800 of us. The ratio is just mind-blowing. I personally benefit from it on the referral. I'm very grateful that I'm in this platform. But before I continue on, I want to do something that I'm starting to do for my kids. Every time if I travel to conferences and whatnot, I want to take like a self-Wi-Fi so that I can share with my family. Because this is what it's all about, right? I think most of y'all in the in the audience, the why is your family, and so bless your heart. Like I tend to take over.
Yeah, so we're gonna take it back. Yep, you gave me an edge.
Let
You
me
took a
a- let
selfie,
me-
and we're back.
Let me add to this though, because
No,
I think there's a
that's
mis-
why I'm gonna throw it to
we don't
you.
want to workplace you to death, but there's a missing component here. We farm and we hunt. We do. You should be using Workplace to farm and to hunt. However, what's most important when you're on Workplace, if anybody's out there transacting commercial real estate in any kind of high level, you probably specialize in an asset class. I would hope so. Once you're in the business for a couple years, you're going to figure out what you gel with, what you jive with, and you're going to specialize in that asset class because they all function so differently. And when you get on Workplace, be incredibly granular. You advertise your work, your specialization. What was Brett calling it? I loved it. Brett said, be the ninja, right? Well, my nephew is the ninja in industrial real estate. And he's the Navy SEAL. That's right. The Navy SEAL in industrial real estate. So when you see him on Workplace, he's eating, living, breathing industrial real estate. And those asset classes transact the same across state lines. So he will get phone calls to support other real estate agents, realty agents in industrial real estate in all kinds of other states. And he's turning those leads and those referrals into money on both sides. Because if you don't understand industrial real estate, wouldn't you rather make something instead of nothing? So
Wait, that was a
specialized.
question. Are you ready to make something rather than nothing? Would you be willing to get so specific in your business every day that that's what you talk about? Because a lot of times we're generalists.
Correct.
Right? We want to talk about all the things, be all the things to all the people. The only way you're going to make everybody happy is be ice cream. Anybody ice cream? No. So you get special.
You become the go-to for that asset class, and your phone rings off the hook Forget the scarcity mindset. There is so much business out there to be had, so much business to be had. So get granular, get super hyper focused, and own that. So, of course, there's nobody else they're going to call except for you.
I think your phone is ringing right now.
Yeah. So, Robert, I got to ask you're very focused. You've got your mindset. You're leveraging workplace. But when you look at kind of the world out there, they're telling a different story than obviously what we're talking about in here. They're scared. The interest rate's unreasonable. You know, the end of the world is coming in commercial real estate because the Fed, blah blah, all the things. What are you doing right now today in your business that maybe you weren't a year ago? How are you hunting and gathering today that you weren't a year ago?
Well, luckily, I'm a small ship, so to speak. I can shift gears real quickly. And unlike having a niche, I don't. I was a journalist by default going through the 2008, 9, 10 nonsense. But it also makes me a good trainer. So what I'm able to do is my focus was invest in sales, loved to invest in sales, knocked it out of the park. When the market shifted, interest rates rose, sellers weren't realistically dropping their cap rates, I shifted quickly to industrial leasing and knocked out a couple 100,000 square feet in a couple quarters. So I don't listen to the news. I don't watch the news. It's nonsense. You got to know what's happening in your backyard. And guess what? Bad economy, good economy, people are moving money, right? Everybody's moving money. You just have to go find who's moving money and get in front of it. Don't watch the news. It's all crap.
So, Pamela, same question to you. Totally different market, but as you said this morning on stage, Vegas has got some sweet stuff happening. And every time there's a crane in the air, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars is that? How many jobs does that translate?
I mean, let's just talk about the casinos that we're building, the hotels and casinos. For every room in one casino, and an average casino will sometimes have about 2,200 rooms, it creates 4 jobs. So as long as we're still creating jobs, we're keeping people employed, people are still going to be transacting. And I'm an old dog. I'd love to tell this story. These guys are probably so sick of hearing this story. I got into business when I was 17. This was right on the cusp of the savings and loan crisis. Interest rates were 12 and 14%. My mom told me to go work for a title company. I got a job as a receptionist, quickly worked my way up to backup escrow officer. We were typing contracts. I didn't know you could walk into a bank and get a loan. I thought every house came with a loan and everybody just assumed it or wrapped it or did a contract for sale because that's all we were doing. But guess what? We were still transacting sales. Agents were still earning commissions. It just looked different. I totally agree with you. Stop watching the news. Of course, it's important to have an understanding of what's going out there on a macro level. Get hyper micro. What can you do to support your clients in a little bit more difficult environment? There are a million solutions. Stop concentrating on the obstacles.
Okay, so let's talk about solutions and taking care of your clients at a really high level, because you all do that beautifully with your team. What does that look like?
So, we are in a very interesting market. A lot of you guys in the audience may not experience, like the high interest rate like this. You guys will be sticker shocking. Oh, wow, 8% interest rate. So market is tough. So how do you continue to maintain relationship with your clients so that when things come around, you still get that business or transaction? So one of the things that I do during this time period is, because not that to say we're not busy, we're still busy, it's just take longer time to transact because you have to do more kind of like sharing the data, and right, because the good times like the year last year or year before, it's pretty much over. It was easier to do transactions back then, but now it's really kind of show your skill sets, your knowledge about the market, and because now, like, anyone heard of ChatGPT, AI, right? So those are the things that we need to incorporate into our daily business practices, because fast forward, 5 years down the road, if you do not implement those things in your business, you're probably gonna be, not to say out of business, but you are in a very, risky position. I mean, this EXPCon, if you look at the schedule, we have a lot of sessions about AI. Why? Because it's serious. This is something that you guys have to incorporate. And AI can really create content for you efficiently. So when you have content, you can share that with your prospects and your client. And that's how you continue to build that relationship. And when the time, turn, or hopefully interest rate will be more kind, then that's where you can continue to shine. At the same time, Robert was saying the sales right now is slow, but leasing has been picking up. And Robert, I mean, Pam too, they have been doing monsters like deals. When I said monsters, the check itself have like 5 or 6 zeros. So yeah, they are the ones. That's why the icon. So, but in order to get to that point is to continue to strive, share the knowledge, stop watching CNN. Wait, what? Really to utilize technology to help you create content, share the knowledge, build a relationship with your prospects and your clients.
I love that. So, Pamela, you and your team, you're Navy SEAL. You guys dig in, and you dig in all the different ways to share information that is beyond CNN or whoever you say. So, where are you going locally, micro? You're digging in. What kind of resources are you going after, and how are you leveraging it in your own way?
For sure. So on my team, we're data centric. We're more about the data than the headline. I despise headlines because they're bait and hook and they're horrible. And if you just read a headline and you don't read the information in the actual article or the actual story, you really have no idea what's going on. So we get hyper local for information. We go to LVGEA, which is a resource in Las Vegas, the Global Economic Alliance, and we look at the numbers of people moving into Las Vegas. We're getting 345 people net a day. We have a housing shortage. That's a problem. We're looking at the employment numbers. We're looking at all the new developments coming online, which are going to be bringing new construction jobs to Las Vegas. So we enjoy data, and we make information based on data versus headlines.
Okay, so you get all this data, and one of the things that we're paid for as professionals, because this is a professionals market, is to be a professional reader, right? Like, people can Google, but Google is overwhelming, right? Like, the volumes that come at you. So when you start to assimilate all of this data, Robert, how do you break it down to where it's actually usable for your people, that they're like, I wouldn't think of it using anybody else but Robert?
Well, luckily, I've been doing it long enough that,
Okay, cool.
You understand the metrics, right? If you're in industrial leasing, you get it. When a new product hits, you already know what the lease rate's going to be, how much square footage, who's looking, right? If you niche down, you just know. But there's a lot of data out there, and who to trust, it's unknown. So don't listen to Brad Inman. He knows everything. Don't listen to Fox News. But one thing I do say in real estate, period, or whatever you're selling, there's only 3 things that matter. It's educate, lead gen, follow up. And this is part of your education. I don't mean going to classes all day. Know who the players are, what's moving in your marketplace, what the rates are, interest rates, anything education related about your industry, your field, your product type, your clients, your customers. That is one of the most important things you can get a handle on, because that will show your professionalism to all your clients.
I can help with that. I just think at the end of the day, you have to really care enough about the client and the transaction more than yourself and your paycheck, right? Because we're planting seeds all the time. And so for me, when I'm working with a client and they say no, they really just mean not right now. Because they're going to be a client forever.
Whoa. Do you see that? That was a sly smile. They didn't say no. They just said not right now.
They just said not right now.
Whoa.
If you can make the numbers, because in commercial real estate, it's all about numbers. There's very little emotion in it. If you can make the numbers work, but you have to have the skill sets to be able to do that. And I love that you said that, because I think for a lot of years, agents and brokers were very successful in a can't lose market. What it takes now is getting educated every day, staying on top of your game, and really understanding the data and what's going on. So it's just about showing your clients X, Y, and Z. It is either going to make sense for them or it's not. And if it doesn't make sense, can we pivot? Is there anything else that we can do? This is a very, like, a silly story. However, one of my best clients was my son, purchased a house. So, of course, mom helped him. A year and a half later, wanted to move outside of Las Vegas and $100,000 in equity because that's what happened in Las Vegas during COVID and everything else. But interest rates were going to kill him, so he couldn't do it. And I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. I get that it's scary. I get that your mortgage payment is going to double, but let's look at all the numbers. So we were actually able to do some massaging in his budget every month, and he bought the house in Logandale, living the dream with 4 goats, and I don't even know what else is going on out there. But the moral of the story is that's just a very silly analogy that transfers over to commercial real estate as well. Can you make the numbers work regardless of interest rates and everything that's going on out there, such that it is a good investment, a good move, a good business decision for that client, period.
I love that you brought that up because I think what we've seen, especially in the last 10 years, is this TikTok mindset. And I mean that affectionately, right? I dance off of TikTok too. But when you look at the TikTok mindset, people or influencers, if you will, are like, this is how you invest. This is how you do the things. Cool. They were looking at interest rate, they were looking at price, but they weren't looking at the total package. And the opportunity in a professional's market is to break that down in such a beautiful way that it becomes bite size and it becomes palatable that people go, oh, it's not about price. It's about terms, conditions, and these other factors that make it palatable that why wouldn't I? Love it. Okay, we're wrapping up, and I want to do this because it's audience participation time. You guys clapped. It was amazing. We shook them up next door. Who has a question that I haven't asked yet? Anybody got a question? Yep, I'm coming. Trying not to kill myself. Hold on, please. Come on to me.
So how much of your success and becoming icons was related to your kind of team structure and setup? Like I see that you guys have people that you work with in your local markets.
I'll go because I do have a pretty robust team that I share a lot of business with, and it's also an Achilles heel, and I'll just speak mathematically. It took me a minute to understand that when I go, what would it be called? When I work with another agent on my team, I'm not actually getting that whole $250 credit towards a transaction. And so once you hit your $20,000 into the company, then you have to close another 20 transactions to get the $250 transaction fee. So for me, I had to close 42 more transactions because I was only receiving a portion of that $250 transaction fee. So I don't know if that actually helps answer your question. The team does help push that forward, but then I'm sharing part of that transaction fee with them on a percentage based on if it was 50-50, I'm only getting credit because I'm only paying 50% of the transaction fee. So I actually had to close 42 more transactions to hit the icon status.
That's called flat moving. I'm coming to you, sir. How are you?
This is specifically for like multifamily. Do you guys experience any like creative financing that's going on right now? We're hearing about like Islamic funding coming into the play. Have you guys heard of anything that's going to change the market or change the narrative that's going on right now?
The biggest thing I've seen is more crowdfunding platforms come on board and more people paying cash. They're raising capital, paying cash, wait for the market to settle down because right now the numbers aren't penciling out with the current debt market. So unless there's massive upside, you get some bridge debt to bridge that gap, but it's been more challenging than we've seen in prior. I haven't seen many funds come in though from overseas, not yet, not in Texas anyways.
One of the trends that we're seeing is for those that are deciding to hold on to their multifamily because maybe they purchased in 2019, 2020. If they're doing okay and they don't have to sell the property, a lot of them are just refining with cash in. They're going to hang on to the property and they're going to wait it out and see what happens. That's a big trend that we're seeing as a refi cash in.
Yeah, so like I said, right now refinancing, like you have to bring capital equity to the table. A lot of syndication, like what you're saying, crowdfunding platform, they have to really have a capital call to the investors. And if the investors are not really supportive of that, then it's really tough for them to go through. I mean, you started to see some news about those syndicators. They basically gave up and let the bank foreclose on it. It's a tough environment right now. Everyone's just trying to find a solution to that, including foreign funding. And then there's another funding which is more like a private public. So you have to convert, I think, 20% of your units to, instead of market rate, you have to convert it to affordable housing rate to qualify for that financing. So that's one solution to that. But again, like I said, if you know the answer, I think we would like to know. But it's I think everyone's just trying to figure it out. And then I think some lenders, they are probably, because lenders do not want to take back the property. If some small regional banks or credit union, they are willing to extend or modify the loan, I think that's the route that they would do. So, I mean, again, there's so many scenarios.
Would it be fair, because I think, I love the question, right? But would it be fair as you're looking at, it doesn't matter whatever kind of refi somebody's looking at, whether it's multifamily or something else, it's what is being done locally. Because now again, we're going back hyper local. What are your local banks doing? What are your credit unions doing? What is the current mortgager ready to do? And you know what? Don't take one answer from that same company. Ask somebody else and elevate it. Who else can we talk to? What else you got? Like, it's squeezing all the numbers out of that mortgage. Is that fair? Like, we've been able to do that with different banks in our neck of the woods. It's like, oh, that sounds really great. What else you got? Because you don't want to take it back. I don't want to give it back. Let's make a deal. So just some things to think.
I think it's a fair statement. I also think that, hopefully we learned some things through the crash of 2008 for anybody else that had the joy of living through that time. I don't think the banks want to massively foreclose on multifamily, and they're not going to. Yeah, they're simply not going to. I'm not saying that there's not going to be foreclosures and there's not going to be any heartache or mess at all whatsoever. But I think as a whole, overall, most of the banks are going to try to do a workout before they get to that point.
So let's do this, guys, because I know there were a couple hands still up in the air, and I am keeping you past happy hour, and I'm smarter than that. I don't want to do that. So as a result, I really want you to make sure that you connect with our fantastic panel of professionals, but there's going to be a great location for y'all to do that. And we are going to go have our commercial happy hour here in just moments, and we're doing that at the
House of Blues.
House of Blues, baby. You ready? How about we we toast our broker of the year. We're going to celebrate our mentor of the year for commercial, and you can corner these guys as long as you buy them an adult beverage. Yeah? Does that sound like
Red
a
wine.
fair trade? Ladies and gentlemen, would you please put it up for our panel? Good job. We could talk with y'all all day. Your professionalism and how you show up. I am so proud to call you our first generation icons in EXP commercial. Congratulations.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
guys.
Thank you all.